Don't know how much we have to say about this, but I got to bring it up. Boys, did you watch the Prince Andrew interview?
I mean,
I thought he was pretty convincing.
He silenced the haters. he basically did the high hope stance all over the haters.
And I admit fully that my judgment was probably coloured by my tendency to be too honourable, but that's just the way it is.
I mean, but it does raise a question. Can you blame a man for being too honorable?
He literally said, my problem is that I'm too honorable.
He's too honorable.
Yeah, and he let down, he used some stupid, what was the thing he said?
And we try and uphold the highest standards and practices, and I let the side down. Simple as that.
I let down the side.
I let down the side.
Yes, by being too honorable.
Yeah,
by being too honorable. Okay, so
by the way, that doesn't work. You can't be too honorable, because honorable is one of those things that has a positive value. It's always inherently good, so you should always be honorable. You cannot be too honorable. That cannot make you do something like hang out with a fucking pedophile.
But he was hanging out to tell him he's bad.
Okay. Two things here. One, who in the royal PR department thought this would be a good idea?
I'll tell you who. The guy who immediately resigned a day after the interview. Not kidding.
Or the real brain take on this is that they are throwing him to the wolves to make the rest of them seem like not connected to this.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's my favorite thing that he said in the whole interview. There are pictures of him with what's her name?
Virginia Guthrie.
Virginia, yeah. There are pictures of them together.
Yep.
So he can't really deny meeting her. So all he can say is, I don't recall ever meeting her.
Oh, that's the...
And the person brought up the statement she had made where, like, I remember him sweatily, touching me and, like, all his... And he goes... He said, rather than just saying, I don't remember that interaction, he said that I had a medical condition at the time that made it impossible for me to sweat and that I don't have anymore.
I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at.
I'm sorry, like that is
masterclass. That is absolute masterclass.
And he said, Matt, you would be interested. I mean, like, you're like, how could I catch that condition? And he said he got it when people shot at him during the Falklands.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay,
his war heroism gave him a temporary inability to sweat.
Yeah,
at the exact moment that he would have been getting all over a underage woman.
Yeah, no, it's really crazy. Like, I took some demons home with me from the Falklands. Like, one thing is, for about 10 years, I had completely clear skin. I never needed to cleanse her or anything. It's like, we all carry baggage with us. It was
what I love about that
class.
is, like, you can like, the best you can do in that situation is just say, I don't recall. This is the answer that every lawyer says is
Absolutely.
the best answer you can give if you're guilty of something. But it's the perfect pointless elaboration of a bad liar to try to come up with what I guess a more plausible excuse. Well, that couldn't have been me. I'm simply unable to sweat.
And I can't. Like, I've never heard of that. What is the explanation for that? Like his fear glands, like it was just like a CPU overloading and just cooking a motherboard.
Also, he would have died.
Yeah.
Well, no, he was sweating through his mouth like a dog.
Because, I mean, have you ever heard about the kid who covered his body in antiperspirant and died?
Well, it's like Goldfinger.
Yeah. You get suffocated. You overheat without having the sweat to regulate your temperature.
Sorry, just one of the things.
Is that signaling? Maybe he's whistleblowing that he's actually a reptilian.
I mean,
reptiles don't sweat. Like,
no, yeah. Well, he had that. He, instead of sweating, he had to roll around in mud like a pig.
Sorry, just one other thing on this. God, I love the British press.
They're the best.
Like, there's just nothing that they won't say or do.
They are
and
absolute scum.
In the Times, Dominic Lawson, I stayed at Epstein's house, so don't hound Andrew. Cool, dude.
Who the fuck are you, buddy?
And he just says, Prince Andrew has been damned for his choice of friends, but he is blessed in his enemies, like Labour MP Chris Bryant. This guy Dominic Lawson, he's just like one of those columnists. There's a photo of him with his arms crossed looking at you.
He looks so complete nuts.
But he just says here, guilt by association is a conveniently elastic property for the press when it's engaged in a manhunt. In this case, the man is Prince Andrew, Duke of York, and he has been associating with a sex offender named Jeffrey Epstein.
Here's the advantage the royal family has in this in the wake of the worst interview in human history, or best, depending on your perspective. The British press has something the American press doesn't have, which is a human wave attack.
Yes.
The sheer volume of columnists makes it like it's an opinion writing Stalingrad. Like, if this guy gets struck down, there are 3,000 other guys who have sort of like, how do I describe it? Like sort of like Capellini textured hair, the same like dumb look on their face, the same pose where they're like, I'll be cutting through the crap of both sides. Like but the same like leaning on their elbow type thing. And they're ready to write articles that are like, how do you even like what even is age?
No,
you don't know what it is.
It's like the Stalingrad, like as each one of them drops the rifle with no bullets in it. By the time it gets to the end, they're gonna be people writing columns like, in the Telegraph or whatever, be like, I'm announced too. It's no problem. Like, end judgment against it. Prince Andrew did nothing wrong.
There's gonna be like, it's gonna be like, there two turnkeys go in, series of like cryo chambers open, like fucking like bank vault shit, like, and then like just a Magneto type prison, like a sheer like glass prison, and Gary Glitter's in there. And they're like, Gary Glitter, we need you to write the greatest op-ed of all time for the Queen.
Gary Glitter, we need you to do rock and roll number 3 for Sandy.
Then I let the side down. Simple as that.
Just a quick check-in on that. I mean, Chris, could you just edit in some of Andy's responses into this? His stammering, fucking sweaty.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. I've gone through this in my mind so many times. At the end of the day, with the benefit of all the hindsight that one could have, it was definitely the wrong thing to do, but at the time I felt it was the honourable and right thing to do.
It's like that
Aurora
bullshit.
Borealis on Little St. James Island this time of year. Yes, actually.
You know what it is though? I watched that interview and it's like, that idiotic thing where like who's that like it was a Democrat who was a prosecutor who was like, if you look the way his eyes go to the left, that's the total horseshit that everyone literally the movie The Negotiator with Samuel L. Jackson and Kevin Spacey invented that. But when I watch that video and you just hear him talk and you see his eyes and face dart all over the it's just there's no other word for it.
Yeah,
okay.
you can't do 4 Johnny Carson collar tugs in a row.
Yeah, Prince Andrew was wearing a cummerbund attached to a piece of string. It was just pulling it back and forth the entire time.
The flapping dickie.
Yeah.
Well, why did his bow tie keep spinning every time they brought up the girls he was reportedly with?
He had a top hat that opened like a can of beans every time he lied.
Holy shit, though! It's just they're not even trying.
No, they don't have to. That's the thing. Everything now is just a vulgar display of power, meant to make us feel totally impotent.